This is John Rhodes, and welcome to the San Francisco Open Mic Poetry Podcast TV show with John Rhodes and Clara Sue. This show is available for national distribution to public access TV stations through pegmedia.org, which you can see on the screen. This show is switching from the old Mystic Babylon site to the newer Blip TV site. The Blip TV site's address has been changed to blip.tv/San Francisco Poetry, but the older URL should work also as well. Also, please try to watch this show on the Roku box or the Boxy box, as it is available on them by searching for the title with the Blip TV app. To find out more about my many video sites and my podcast novel, go to rhodespoetry.com. For more about the second host, Clara Sue, visit clarasue.com. Thank you. The show will start shortly. Hello, this is the San Francisco Open Mic Poetry Podcast TV show with John Rhodes and Clara Sue. Today we have on Christopher Trian and Deidre Evans. Christopher Trian is also an artist, which you can see from the wonderful work behind me. And Deidre is a poet, very good poet, and has been published by Beatitude Press. Clara will go into more detail talking with Deidre in her segment. I was just going to ask a few questions of Chris about his poetry and his art, and you were published through Zeitgeist, right?
That's correct. Yes.
I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Yeah.
And who inspired you in your poetry? Anybody?
To begin with, my mother.
Your mother, okay.
My mother was a writer, and my father was a painter.
Oh, okay. So it came with the family.
Yeah.
The apple didn't fall.
Both apples didn't fall from the tree.
Yeah. And I'm trying to learn a little bit about art. I made this pod here.
That's nice.
And I can't really do. I'm trying to learn watercolor, and I can't really do shadows. Mm-hmm. And your shadows are very good. You're very good at shadows.
Thank you.
And I just thought I'd mention that.
Thank you.
And you have let's see, it says here, a new company called Portraits of People and Pets.
Yeah, well, that's my own company just starting up. I paint portraits, commissioned portraits of people and their animals. And I find that people are almost more likely to get pictures of their dogs and their cats than they are their beloved husband or something. And I have a way of painting animals to really make them look human.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite
I bet it is good.
I didn't have an animal painting here to bring you, but they're quite something.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll cut it at that so you can have a little bit more time to read. And thank you for your answering the few questions.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
As we were saying about portraits of people and pets, I have a website, which is at www.christophertrian, Trian, and it's one word, .com. And there is an email that comes with the site. Also, I have another email, chris_Trian@yahoo.com, if you'd like to contact me. Now on to the poetry. Blessed, blessed oblivion. I have lived in North Beach hotels with walls made of red wine and despair, landlady like a carp, crucifixion toilet down the hall, loving strippers with legs like tarantulas and the soles of doorknobs, trying to be Bukowski or Blaise Cendrars or God. I have threatened suicide so many times the dead make book, and I'm lying, which I always do, because I haven't got the guts. Instead, I've lain across the steps of St. Schizophrenia Catholic Church, waiting for poetry or redemption to explode in my mouth like a suicide bomber. waiting for my 15 minutes of fame, for my official beatnik name tag, my pound of round steak and loaf of rye bread and Nobel Prize for suffering and endurance. But there is no American dream for a poet, and no America either. We are citizens of another place where absinthe makes the heart grow fonder, where Agony Street meets Loneliness Alley and the sky is always gray, and we stand in front of a million chapbooks at City Lights bookstore, none of them ours. We are not waiting for a rebirth of wonder, but for Blake's tiger to stop burning and turn into a beautiful woman, to stroke our everything and play the Monica Lewinsky tango as saxophones sound like foghorns and all our heroes are dead or can't remember if they're alive, and poetry does no good like bad lottery tickets littering the hamster cage of our room in this Gotterdammerung twilight. Drunk too early and born too late, we missed the beats and the post beats and the post-modern all-American goalpost fire hydrants made for dogs and literary critics to pee on. 10,000 of us at last count in North Beach. We cut our feet on the sharp beard of the sun on Sunday morning and walk up and down Washington Square like dime store Christs. Kaufman's fish with frog eyes staring up like a holocaust. Creation is not perfect. All our bodhisattvas have lied. There are no old souls or great poets, just men and women killing time and everything else, trying to nail the mask of the brute of life to the mirror of narcotics and amphetamine, to fists up the arse, shoved in and opened, palms up to ask for spare change from the soul. I have died and died and died so many times just to see if I can rise from the dead. It's easy, a circus trick, like redemption or genius. I'm old and getting older, and girls look like children to me, and children look like demolition derbies, and love is saying you're sorry every 5 minutes, and sex is something you do with a hand grenade dropped into a tank of piranha. Now I'm just an old word junkie, not knowing when to quit, waiting for that blessed, blessed oblivion which never comes. We've all been cheated. Nothing counts but the next word, slouching like a leper out of the alley. We run to catch him. He gets away. And we eat fire hydrants and get a fifth of port and contemplate poisoning the pigeons or driving that old car through a city block full of the homeless. Everyone is homeless in America anyway. What has been evicted will not come back. The answer is not blowing in the wind, but hanging limp like a flag of permanent defeat. But still, we, all of you or them or everyone pulls that wrinkled piece of paper out of our pocket or purse, and we try to make the words lay down like girls used to, willingly, lustily, before handcuffs were invented, and language wanted to swallow words like hot jets of sperm, and our ecstasy of the mind was all that mattered, the black plastic tied to the shopping carts of our excitement. We were poets. We were dolphin, poems and shrapnel, love and fire, love and fire. We had voices once, blessed, blessed oblivion. We had voices, and nothing was real unless it was written, and so nothing was real, and we had no fear at all. Where does the soul go? Where does the soul go when the body is held hostage? Where hides the mind when thinking is against the law? Where are the homeless taken when the last homeless are sacrificed? Where does the forest sleep when the last tree is awakened? Frog marched out of the sawmill for falling silently with no one listening. Why is no one listening when the roar of the world is deafening? Why can no one see when the world is choked with eyes? Why are there so very few we's when we are hurting everywhere? Why do we not cry out when crying is the music of tomorrow? Why do we take it and take it when taking is the whole of the law? Why can't we kill lies when liars kill us by the thousands? Why are we afraid of the roads when their death wagons rove everywhere? Why can't we be strong when whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger? Where does the soul go when only the soulless walk free? Where is the prison of the living when the churches are filled with the dead? Where is the cross of time and space when we have run out of both? Why do children have everything and lose it when they learn how to love? Why are the lovers the soldiers? And what is worth fighting for? Why is politics hate's secret language? When it says peace, why does it mean war? Love. Love seeps in like an evil tide under the skin when we're trying to just lie there and let sleep drag us into the womb of night. Love chops us down to size on our knees, waiting for love's goddess to deign to talk to us. Love is a crematorium for our Auschwitz souls. We nurse love with whatever gets us through the night, a night filled with nightmares about love, like a house we cannot find, or about speeding over the hills like a horrible clackety-clack, out-of-control locomotive until we kick and scream and wake each other up. And then we have to hold each other's hands and get back to sleep. My love Deidre and I sometimes sleep with only our hands touching, or just the tips of our fingers, as in the Michelangelo painting of Adam and God, barely touching, with our bodies twitching and thrashing, yet our touch is never broken. Love is a beast that eats our brains and bodies, so our hearts are left as desperate as orphans. We are babies crying in a crib, screaming epithets against our mothers. Love is a mother, a moon mother, creating our reflections on dark water. Water like a mirror, wherein love is truth, in flesh, in life. Life into which we have been dragged out, screaming into childhood. Love is childhood.
Thank you, Chris, for your poetry. I'm going to read a poem. I rarely read dated poetry, but I was thinking about the tornado in Joplin, Missouri, and I was thinking about reckless abandonment and how I was in this poem. I'm reading it as a comparison between human reckless abandonment and the abandonment of nature. So this poem was partially written about Janis Joplin and partially about Mother Nature and partially about all of us. And the poem is called The Janus-Faced Pauper of Summer. And Janus in the title relates to the two-faced god Janus, which is spelled a little different, Janus. So here's the poem. Stop singing, pauper, and stop running riotous like the colors of summer. Tooth and nail you take down the summer house of pleasures and its innocent reach towards civility. Stop tempting women who have a free imagination, who long to lust quick, but in ignorance of ordered elegance, like that found in well-ordered gardens that the pauper's poverty of imagination doesn't know. No structured design is he, no emblem of controlled beauty. The wicked Ahab built his house, the louse. The pauper of unrefined desire even makes the worm crawl, not giving him a spine, making it look ever more cheap and tawdry. The pauper spends his days enjoying the worm, but at the bottom of a tequila bottle. The worm would prefer to live chewing on some dead fungus or mushroom, giving an antidepressant effect to the worm's life. To squirm psychotic. Summer is hot and the lemonade is cold, but the pauper likes the neutral netherworld that sullies up contrary emotions, which makes the pauper smile, because these hot and cold emotions are like a two-sided coin, echoing the two-faced Janus. and these emotions will give him a following in the hot sun. After all, the young ones will say he's only half a devil. Thank you. The second segment is next.
Hello, welcome to the San Francisco Poetry Open Mic Podcast TV show. My name is Clara Sue, co-hosting with John Rhodes, and today I have Deidre Evans as my guest. Hello, Deidre. Welcome
Hi,
to the
Clara.
show. Deidre was born in Oakland and grew up in Berkeley and San Francisco. Her two favorite poets as a child were Dorothy Parker and Edgar Allan Poe, and both, as well as many others, influenced the writings in her book, Mother Goose, From the Crypt. And the book is illustrated by your husband, Chris Trian, and published by the Beatitude Press. So who is the current publisher of Beatitude Press?
Well, David Moe is one of the publishers, and he was the one that published me first way back in the 70s in his Love Lights paper that he had. And
Okay, wonderful. Now, I'm a little bit curious about your title, Mother Goose and the Crypt.
well, I've always liked to rhyme ever since I learned to talk and
okay.
write. And the crypt is where I climbed out of after being injured twice. And spending many years trying to even get a brain back.
Oh, my goodness. How did you get injured?
Oh, the first time I was mugged, and the second time I fell out a window while my mother was dying.
So I could see why you were coming out from the crypt. Very interesting title, and Deidre's books is also available at the Beatitude Press website. I think it is.
Probably.
Right. Okay, wonderful. So let's hear Deidre Evans read.
First, I'm going to read the poem that I wrote when I was first coherent after crawling out of the crypt. It's called Queen of Swords. Please allow me to introduce myself. My totem's the Black Widow. You can call me Queen of Swords. My tongue sharpened, prepared to flow with streams of scathing words. If you taunt me or deceive me, I'll extract a price that's dear. If you don't intend to grieve me, you've nothing from me to fear. Be warned, trouble is my element, born to struggle, raised by strife. Not broken, but most surely bent from fighting for my life. I can be a fatal female or an angel with a light. I can shriek and ride the howling gale or illuminate the night. I can be a faithful friend or a most determined foe. I can destroy or defend. I can come or I can go. Life is danger, I'm alive, and I know all things are true. I'll do what's needed to survive. I'll draw or shield my sword on cue. My sheath is velvet red, my blade sharp-tempered steel. When all is done and said, everything is real. This is a definitive answer to everything. Those who'd explain humanity risk limb and life insanity. When misled by scholars' vanity, they state without a doubt that no mortals had all answers to why we're here and what about. Neither physicist nor PhD can convince folks successfully. The truth remains a mystery. Any man-built cosmology leads but a step through history before tombed in theology. Quasars explode dense galaxies, a million words seize and decease. Can any deny the catastrophes? Who can explain such violence in a well-ordered universe? Look again, friend, with diffidence. Each prophet claims to have the key, selling patent-potent divinity. The turtle balances earth infinitely, say the Chinese and other sages. But don't frown. All we ever need to know is written, and it's turtles, turtles, all the way down. This is femme fatale. A mantis, piously repenting, late lustful hungers, regretting losses from lewd appetites she sated in heated night. She clasps her dainty hands together, praying, praying. A silent reverie. Last night he raced her gaping maw. In pain did as gain as passion's pawn the deadly caress that called his seed. Too well he filled her need. The price he paid was very dear. Now his bride carries memories. She is near virgin still, rising awash in sacred blood to raise sweet voice in mourning. Sadly she sighs his passing and gently chants a requiem mass for him between her tender thighs. Showtime. It's showtime now, celebrants swarm to enter deep into the warm to see the show presented by the mad for the demented. Naked ladies wait the tables, dressed in silky ears of sables, pouring strong ambrosia wine to make the patrons feel divine. The first act catapults on stage a yellow baboon in a purple rage. He spits his teeth and bites his toes and shovels popcorn up his nose. The thunderous applause dies down. The curtain parts upon a clown who's crying softly in his tea while painting God's eyes on his knee. The crowd grows ugly, vomits booze. The clown vanishes, leaving clues. A dancing bear is on the stage devouring Nietzsche, page by page. A child lost appears in the wings, crying for a mother who enters and sings of welfare lines and climbing rent and how her food stamps are all spent. The crowd grows silent, a deadly hush, grabs mother and child in an angry rush, builds bonfires of gilt-edged frames, throws mother and child into the flames. The cheering rises quick and loud. The show ends with a happy crowd, leaving the scent of flesh that's burning, leaving without ever learning. It's showtime now. Celebrants swarm to enter deep into the warm to see the show presented by the mad for the demented. Leprechauns. Deep in the enchanted wood, behind the web of smoke, lives a small society that's called the Little Folk. Their smiles outshine the stars at night, they're pale by light of moon. They live so long they watch it all, transcribing it by rune. They know the secrets of the worm, they'll tell you if you dare to catch and keep one through the day, but watch out, they're not fair. Wise humans leave a bowl of milk, a plate of bread and honey. They accept gold or shining gems, but never dirty money. They love the essence of the night. They shun the blaze of sun. They'll take your children from their beds. Spare changeling? Anyone? The dark forest. I have walked in the dim, haunting forest, where the roots like live entrails do writhe. At the feet of the oak and the willow, they express their deep will to survive. And the vines that are shrunken and sallow, and the verdant green glow of his hair leads the toads to the trees where the snakes wish to please all the folks who are really not there. Yes, I've tread other paths in the forest, the trails which aren't readily seen, in the damp, dark den in the forest where only what rots is still green, and there where the rush of the red blood confronts the black hole in the brain, the allosaurs wail, Eohippus turns tail, and the weather reports always rain. Have you been to that part of the forest where the butterfly's wings have been clipped? Have you scattered your seed in the forest? Have you tasted the nectar you sipped? Have you gazed in the pool in the dim glen where the worlds often pass and collide, where the platypus wails and the great buzzard sails and the shrills are promoting the ride? Now when night falls within the dark forest, almost penetrating the gloom, The harpies sing loudly a chorus and pretend they are prophets of doom. The circle embraces the splendor. The shadow of pestilence passed, and each rover knows any path that he chose inevitably is the last. So seek out the neon of the city, where the light is a crystal clear flame, where the dance of the dead is so pretty I can and I come and I came again and again to the party, the same party that plays against time. We dance on the bed of the ungrateful dead and fill gelatin capsules with rhyme. Vision. Snake, sea, heat, waves, ebbing, flowing, coming, going, random fractals by the sackfuls, neither influenced nor keeping score of eggs well laid. Do serpents see more? Feel more with icy gaze? Snakes see waves. Dogs see particles syncopated, marching, matching, catching balls, ready in emergency, barking with urgency, basking by the fire, bearing tummy for a rub. The neighborhood's a choir of howls and hounds' hubbub, separated articles. Dogs see particles. Sometimes I see wavicles, blended together, fluidly separate, disparate and sensitive. I change, mutate, recreate myself that I can live again, if not as good as new. Sometimes I see wavicles. Don't you? Thank you.
Thank you, Deidre, for your poetry. I'd like to mention that the painting behind me is the famous Lady Rosa Parks, and it's painted by Chris Trian, Deidre's husband. I'd like to finish up with a poem of my own. It is titled Metamorphosis. Here I want to talk about a stirring when you least expect it. A fleeting thought, a passing fancy, a tingling of the loin at a most ordinary moment comes by way of sorcery, and you are in love. Here, the free-eyed witch has done her job, mismatching humanoids when your guard is down. With her quivering hands, she kneads your heart into an unsightly lump and bakes it in the oven. In due course, your organ may come out flattened and hard, or puffy and loaded with sugar. It depends on her handling. But you'll have a tough time fitting the heart back into the hole. She is never known to be delicate. Thank you for listening. My name is Clara Sue, co-hosting with John Rhodes for the San Francisco Poetry Open Mics podcast TV show. See you next time.